Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Episode 8 of the Maxwell Files. In a federal filing today, Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers asked for bail ahead of the arraignment. According to her lawyers, $5 million sounds like a good enough number for her to provide so that she can be given bail. Her lawyers also came up with 8 reasons why she should be given bail. In the article tonight, we're going to go through those 8 reasons, and we're going to discuss why each of them is a bad idea. Ghislaine Maxwell should not be given bail. Ghislaine Maxwell should never, ever spend another second outside of a federal prison for the rest of her life. The crimes that she has committed are so heinous that there is no rehabilitation for this. There is no going to jail and finding yourself, finding religion when it comes to something like this. People like this are just sick, okay? They can't be rehabilitated. They can't be fixed. They can't be reconditioned to be introduced back into the public. It just doesn't work like that. And Ghislaine Maxwell is a threat not only as a flight risk, but Ghislaine Maxwell is a threat to all of these people who are alleging that she abused them. We already know that she wasn't scared to threaten these girls. Just listen to what she told Maria Farmer. So why should anybody think that it's a good idea for Ghislaine Maxwell to get out on bail? Let's jump into this article and see what sort of asinine reasons her law team came up with. This is an article from lawandcrime.com. The author, Jerry Lamb. Headline: Lawyers for Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's alleged accomplice, came up with 8 reasons she should get bail. Lawyers for Ghislaine Maxwell, deceased sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's 58-year-old former girlfriend and alleged co-conspirator, fellow child molester, all-around scumbag, in the serial abuse of young girls, came up with 8 reasons on Friday why a federal judge should grant their client bail ahead of trial. Here's one reason why they shouldn't. Because she is a threat to everybody around her. How about that? That's how disgusting I believe this woman is. I believe she is a threat to society at large. Charges against Maxwell were unsealed on July 2nd. She faces 2 counts of conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal sex acts, conspiracy to transport minors with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity, transportation of a minor with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity, and 2 counts of perjury. Here were 8 of the main arguments made by Maxwell's defense lawyers. Number 1. Maxwell's family and friends like her and don't think she's guilty. Well, there it is, folks. Pack it in. No need to prosecute the case. No need to go through the evidence. No need to have Maxwell take the stand or give a statement. Her friends and family think she's a good person, and, they don't think she's guilty, so let's just pack it in. Miss Maxwell has maintained extremely close relationships with her 6 siblings and her nephews and nieces. I wonder if that includes Alexander DeRossi. The one who worked at Hillary Clinton's State Department. I wonder how he got that job. They all stood by her in the aftermath of the July 2019 indictment of Epstein and continue to stand by her now. Aw, isn't that cute? The Maxwell-Manson family all stands by Ghislaine Maxwell. That comes as a shock to nobody. She is especially close to 2 of her sisters and their children, all of whom reside in the United States. Again, what they're saying here to us is that she's very close to Alexander DeRossi. So, those questions have to be asked of Hillary Clinton, huh? Hey, dear Hillary, why did Alexander DeRossi have a job in your State Department? Why did Alexander DeRossi have a job working on Middle East policy? And what did he have to do with the so-called freeing of Libya? Considering it's such a shit show now, is anybody ever going to be accountable for any of this, or we're just going to act like none of it ever happened? Miss Maxwell also has numerous friends in the United States who themselves have children, and she is godmother to many of them. Oh, my Lord. I would like to see a list of everybody who would make Ghislaine Maxwell godmother of their children. Are you kidding me right now? What an absolute joke. Who would make Ghislaine effing Maxwell the godmother of their children? Alan Dershowitz, maybe. I mean, unbelievable. I'd really like to see that list. Miss Maxwell's family and friends have remained committed to her because they do not believe the allegations against her, which do not match the person they have known for decades. Okay, so let me understand real quick. You think that all of these girls who have come forward are lying? You think that the federal prosecutors don't have their ducks in a row and the allegations lined up correctly against Ghislaine Maxwell? You really believe that? And if so, if you're one of these so-called friends and family who truly believes that, you should probably take a long look in the mirror and try and figure out what the hell is wrong with yourself. Number 2. Oh yeah, here's the doozy. This is the excuse for everybody at this point, no matter what's going on in the world, right? Number 2. The coronavirus pandemic has been ravaging prison populations and would put her at risk of death. Really? That's what you're going to run with, huh? The good old COVID-19 pandemic excuse. The COVID-19 crisis and its impact on detained defendants warrants release. As this court has noted, the COVID-19 pandemic represents an unprecedented health risk to incarcerated individuals, and COVID-19 related restrictions on attorney communications with pretrial detainees significantly impair a defendant's ability to prepare her defense. Simply put, under these circumstances, if Miss Maxwell continues to be detained, her health will be at serious risk, and she will not be able to receive a fair trial. Oh, give me a break. If you would have had to pick one excuse that they would run with, you knew it would be the coronavirus excuse, right? Let's be real here, okay? The mortality rate is not even that high at this point for someone in her age range. So you mean to tell me we should let this monster out on the street because she might contract coronavirus? Yeah, not going to happen. Here's a better idea. Let's keep her isolated in prison and by herself and quarantined there. How about that? That's a good idea, huh? I don't even know what to say about this stupid ass excuse. I mean, every single person who is up against it and looking at jail time is going to try this excuse right now, considering the courts have set the precedent for letting people out. And to be honest with you, unless the person is suffering from some sort of other condition, like, diabetes or something that puts them in a high-risk category, I don't even know why they would be let out of jail at this point. The justice system is so screwed up. Number 3, her lack of criminal record and long-established relationships in the U.S. means she's not a flight risk. Oh yeah, not at all. She has no ties to anybody overseas. I mean, they weren't running an intercontinental sex trafficking ring or anything. So why would anyone think that a lady with 175 passports, hyperbole obviously, would be a flight risk? Never mind somebody that has the means to walk up and buy a sprawling home in the New Hampshire wilderness for a cool $1 million. She doesn't have the means to get out of Dodge. Nah, not a flight risk. Come on, no criminal record. Oh, hey. Is anybody buying this? I don't know. Do they really think the judge is going to buy this? And if the judge does buy this, boy, oh boy, are we in for a rough road. Miss Maxwell has no criminal record, which includes the approximately 25-year period from the time the conduct alleged in the indictment took place to the present. She has no criminal record because nobody had the cojones to prosecute her. Okay? She was being protected. It's not that she's not a criminal. It's not that she doesn't pose a risk. It's that she has been on the receiving end of favorable treatment from the two-tier justice system for decades. This woman is as much of a flight risk as anybody has ever been. Miss Maxwell also has significant ties to the United States. She has lived in this country for almost 30 years and became a naturalized U.S. citizen in 2002. Miss Maxwell also has strong family ties to this country. Two of her sisters, who have agreed to co-sign her bond, live in the United States, and they have several children who are U.S.-born citizens. So what? So does everybody else who gets arrested in one of these cases. R. Kelly had family and friends too. Did he get let out? No, not only did R. Kelly get arrested and thrown in the clink, rightfully so, but he got charged with RICO. Can we get some RICO in this case, please? Miss Maxwell is very close with her sisters and maintains regular contact with them, as well as with her nieces and nephews. Miss Maxwell also has numerous close friends and professional colleagues who reside in this country. In sum, the United States has been Miss Maxwell's home for decades. So what? If it's run from your home and your family to go on the lam, or face 35, 50, 150 years in federal prison, I know which choice you're going to make, okay? Don't act like Ghislaine Maxwell is ready to stand before the wagon and look at the man and say, all right, I'm here for my justice. I'm ready to stand trial. That's not what she's doing. If she really wanted to come forward and talk to the authorities, she would have done that, okay? They had to go and drag her out of her house because this woman is as guilty as Jeffrey Epstein was. Number 4. Maxwell's massive New Hampshire hideout was only to avoid media attention, not the authorities. They really want us to believe this stuff. This is the kind of bullshit that they've been spinning for decades. And their parasite friends in the legacy media, oh, well, they would jump on and push the narrative for them. But nowadays, they can no longer do that. Do you know why? Well, the format, how we are communicating right now, and other formats that are provided via social media and the internet have superseded the BS that the legacy media tries to spill on us on a regular basis. And to see how many people are bypassing the legacy media now, and to see how many people have gotten hip to the bullshit that gets spewed on a daily basis, the rage porn that they blare over the airwaves on a regular basis, people are starting to get hip to it. And people don't want it anymore. People are done with that shit. People want real, tangible news. The government notes that Miss Maxwell dropped out of public view after Epstein's arrest, which the government seeks to portray as hiding from the law. Oh yeah, because she wasn't doing that, right? This lady wasn't even, they couldn't even find her to serve her with court papers, okay? She wasn't hiding from the law. Somebody who's not hiding from the law doesn't need to be found and searched for to get served. The government further argues that she had taken several steps to avoid detection, including moving residences and switching her phone and email addresses. But Miss Maxwell did not take these steps to hide from law enforcement or evade prosecution. Instead, there were necessary measures that little Miss Maxwell was forced to take to protect herself and her family members and her friends and colleagues and their children from the unrelenting and intrusive media coverage, threats, and irreparable reputational harm. Oh, give me a break. It was hard to even read that just now. She is not the victim, okay? Nobody was threatening you. How could they threaten you? Nobody had your email address. You had to keep changing it. Nobody knew your home address. So who was threatening you, okay? Nobody was threatening you. The only threats were the ones that you were using to coerce these girls into staying quiet, to coerce these girls into acting in a way that you wanted them to act. So please spare me the whole victimhood routine. Nobody is buying it. Number 5. The government didn't allege that Maxwell was planning to flee, and Maxwell would have been happy to voluntarily surrender to authorities upon request. That's such bullshit, too. Why does it have to be on request? Why didn't she just go and surrender to the authorities? What, she didn't know she was under investigation? She thought she was going to come strolling out of this squeaky clean like Tony Soprano down the boardwalk? Come on, man. The government has offered no proof that she was making plans to leave the country. In fact, had the government alerted her counsel that she was about to be arrested, we would have arranged for Miss Maxwell's prompt, voluntary surrender. Instead, the government arrested Miss Maxwell without warning on the day before the July 4th holiday, thus ensuring that she would be in federal custody on the 1-year anniversary of Epstein's arrest. Yeah, no shit. That's exactly what happened, okay? Without warning? What, we give warning before we arrest sex traffickers in this country? I know that's the treatment your buddy Jeffrey Epstein got all the time, but you're not getting the same treatment, okay? You're getting arrested, 20 agents are kicking in your door, they're bringing planes over your house, the whole 9 yards. And guess what? You're lucky. There was no news crews there to really lock in your humiliation. I wish there would have been. Number 6. Maxwell went into hiding to protect her family and friends. Again, she's the shining knight here. She's the hero. She's the protector. Oh, I have to go into hiding to protect my friends. You don't have any friends, you serpent. Okay? Who are your friends? Laura Goldman? Please. None of your other friends are willing to go on record. Oh, we know that you have a lot of friends. We know Prince Andrew. We know that Glenn and Eva Dubin are your friends, and good old Leslie Wexner and Alan Dershowitz. Oh, we know who your friends are. But you think any of those snakes are coming on record to defend you? Nobody's going to defend you. You didn't go in hiding because of your friends. You were in hiding because A, you were scared shitless the feds were going to do what they ended up doing, and B, you did not want to answer any questions about your part in Jeffrey Epstein's criminal enterprise. And that part that you played was much more than the victim, Ghislaine. It was much more than somebody who was just being manipulated by Jeffrey Epstein. Ghislaine, you had a leadership role, in my opinion. The media feeding frenzy, which has only intensified in recent months, has also deeply affected her family and friends. Some of Miss Maxwell's closest friends who had nothing whatsoever to do with Epstein have lost their jobs or suffered severe professional and reputational damage simply by being associated with her. Okay, let's see the receipts. Who are these people? And what jobs have they lost? Considering nobody's been reporting on this story the correct way, really. So who has been doing all this digging into Ghislaine Maxwell to get her friends and family fired? Where are those reports? Can we see the receipts? Or are those just more bullshit statements? I'm going to go with bullshit statements. These lawyers of Ghislaine Maxwell's, they really think this shit's going to fly, but it's straight garbage. Miss Maxwell therefore did what any responsible person would do. She separated herself from everyone she cares about and removed herself from the public eye in order to keep herself and her friends out of harm's way. Because Ghislaine Maxwell, she's, the Prince Arthur, the King Arthur in this story, right? She's the one sitting at the head of the round table to protect all of those weak around her. Meanwhile, this lady is as big or bigger of a predator than Jeffrey Epstein. She's literally a walking serpent. And the fact that these lawyers would have us believe that she cares about anybody but herself is one of the most laughable things about this whole entire ridiculous defense they're laying out. Number 7. Oh, here we go. Another coronavirus excuse. The coronavirus pandemic has made air travel more difficult than normal. Another reason Maxwell literally isn't a flight risk. Yeah, because she'd be flying coach on American Airlines over to England. She wouldn't be flying private on a private jet or anything like that. Who do these people think they're kidding, okay? They're not fooling me, and I know they're not fooling you. So who do they really think they're going to be kidding with this? The judge? That's about the only person that they could hope for sympathy from, because nobody else is going to give it to them. And I'm sure the prosecutors are going to look to absolutely and utterly smash all of these stupid ass reasons that they're laying out for her to get bail. The ongoing travel restrictions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic would pose a significant hurdle to Miss Maxwell's ability to flee the United States, particularly to France and the United Kingdom. That's absolutely ridiculous. When you have the means that she has, and you have the connections that she has, and obviously she still has a lot of those connections if she's slinking around and buying $1 million homes, what's to make us believe that she could not reach out to some of these people that she's worked with, some of these people that she's provided girls for, some of these people she has compromising information on, and have them help her get smuggled right out of the country? What, that's something that never has happened, that's never happened before? Somebody hasn't snuck out of a country? Somebody hasn't, beat feet? Don't give me the coronavirus nonsense. If it was a regular person, all right, I get it. Not too many people are able to go hop on the plane, fly across seas, go to England. Nobody has those kind of connections and shit for the most part, right? Ghislaine Maxwell, on the other hand, oh, she most certainly does. Number 8. She's not a danger to the community because the crime she's alleged to have committed, which involved the sexual exploitation and abuse of multiple minor girls by Jeffrey Epstein, it happened a long time ago. So, she's rehabilitated. Just because she did that a long time ago, we can't judge her on her past behavior. She would never do that again. She's learned her lesson. Is that what they would have us believe? Is that the line that they're pitching to us? But unlike the position it took with Epstein, the government does not contend that Miss Maxwell poses any danger to the community, or that she suffers from compulsive or addictive sexual proclivities. What? This lady has been abusing girls for decades. Just go ahead and read what she did to Annie Farmer, okay? Think about what happened to Annie, what Ghislaine Maxwell did to Annie. For that alone, she should be rotting underneath Guantanamo Bay for the rest of her life. Never mind all of the other stuff that she's being accused of. I mean, are these people serious right now? Even according to the indictment, Miss Maxwell's alleged participation in offenses involving minors ended in 1997. Here, the only applicable presumption relates to risk of flight, and, as noted, Miss Maxwell has rebutted that presumption based on her ties to the United States, her decision to remain in this country after Epstein's arrest, and all of the other reasons discussed above. Alright, so the reason she decided to remain in the U.S., in my estimation, I don't have any inside information on this, right? No direct line. My guess is because her passport, it was flagged, okay? Does anyone really think the FBI didn't know where Ghislaine Maxwell was? They were watching her. Did people forget what Edward Snowden told us about the collection of data in this country? They know where all of us are. They can find a terrorist in the mountains in Tora Bora and launch a cruise missile down his throat from 75,000 feet in the air. Do you really believe they did not know where Ghislaine Maxwell was this whole time? Of course they did. Bonus. Ghislaine Maxwell is not Jeffrey Epstein. No, maybe not as far as, biologically she's not Jeffrey Epstein, right? She's just the woman version of Jeffrey Epstein. Are these people serious? This woman, in my opinion, had a leadership role within Jeffrey Epstein's criminal enterprise and was calling the shots from behind the scenes. When is the legacy media going to get hip? Sometimes the simplest point is the most critical one. Ghislaine Maxwell is not Jeffrey Epstein. She was not named in the government's indictment of Epstein in 2019, despite the fact that the government has been investigating this case for years. Oh, so that's all. That settles it, right? She wasn't named in that indictment, so that's it. She wasn't named in that indictment because it was the initial arrest, okay? They didn't even have time to pressure Epstein to get him to turn. So their excuse here is ridiculous at best. Maxwell is scheduled to appear remotely via video for a July 14th arraignment and bail hearing in the Southern District of New York, U.S. District Judge Allison J. Nathan said on Tuesday. The feds, apparently concerned about Maxwell's safety in jail, i.e. concerned a repeat of Epstein's jail stay last summer, took away her bedsheets and gave her paper clothes to wear. See below for Maxwell's full memo in opposition to detainment ahead of the trial. So like usual, I'll have the link in the description box. But what we have here are the 8 main points of Ghislaine Maxwell's defense for her getting bail and the reasoning why she should not be remanded to federal custody while the trial takes place. And what you also have are my opinions of each and every one of these 8 ridiculous reasons. There is no way on this earth that Ghislaine Maxwell should ever see the light of day again. Bologna sandwiches, jumpsuits, and prison bars. That is the extent of it. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. You can also find me on Twitter at BOBBYCAPUCCI. All right, everybody. You can find all of the links that pertain to the podcast and this episode within the description box. I will be back tomorrow with some more.